Okay? Now, where is Harlem?
In New York.
In New York City. Okay, excellent. Okay, and it's also a winner of 2 major awards. They took to the roads and right across Georgia, skipped over the tracks in East St. Louis, took the bus from Holly Springs, Arkansas, hitched a ride from Gee's Bend, took the long way through Memphis, which is in Tennessee, thank you. The 3rd deck down from Trinidad, which is another country. A wrench of heart from Goree Island. A wrench of heart from Goree Island to a place called Harlem, okay, which we now know is in New York City. Okay, so here he is. Look at that beautiful, beautiful picture.
Wow. That's
Now, remember, I want you to think about what is a city like. Is a city very quiet? No. It's going to be loud, right? Okay, so now let's see. Harlem was a promise of a better life, of a place where a man didn't have to know his place simply because he was black. Okay, what is a synonym, another word for black? Go, Jace. African American, okay? What is another synonym?
dark.
Dark, okay, excellent. All right, so we're talking about dark skin, right? Okay, awesome. So now, woo, man, look at this lady. They brought a call, a song. All right, first heard in the villages of Ghana, Mali, Senegal. Those are all places in Africa, right? Which is another continent, okay? Calls and songs and shouts. Okay, calls, song. I wish Miss Jackie was here to do a song with you with that. Okay, and shouts. Okay, heavy-hearted tambourine rhythms. So the shouts were like this: hey, hey, oh, hey. Right? It's all in that tambourine rhythm, right? Okay, loosed in the hard city like a scream torn from the throat of an ancient clarinet. What imagery? You get that picture in your mind? A new sound, raucous and sassy. Okay, think of a song that's sassy. Cascading over the asphalt village, breaking against the black sky over 125 Street. What's 125 Street? That's what? It's the address, right? It's the address in Harlem, okay? It's the actual place. Announcing hallelujah, riffling past resolution. There's some big words in this book. All right, here we go. Ready? Yellow, tan, brown, black, red. Green, gray, bright colors, loud enough to be heard. Light on the asphalt streets. Sun yellow shirts on burnt umber. Bodies demanding to be heard. Scenes sending out warriors. Okay, so here's all these different people. What are they doing?
Swimming.
They're dancing, running in the water. The water is coming from the what? The fire hydrant, right? Okay. So in cities, a lot of cities don't have swimming pools. So a lot of times they'll just turn the fire hydrant on, let the water run, and you can go run out. When I was a kid on the farm, I didn't have a pool either, right? We used to go through the sprinkler heads of the irrigation. Okay, and that's how I got to swim, was running through the irrigation. All right. From streets that know to be, morning still as a lone radio tells us how Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, and Sugar Ray is doing with our hopes. So Jack Johnson, Joe Louis, and Sugar Ray were all African American men who were famous, who were trying to lead a charge to make people understand what was going on with them. Okay, Joe Louis and Sugar Ray were both boxers. Okay, they were fighters. Oh, who's this guy? Let's see. We hope, we pray, our black skins reflecting the face of God in storefront temples, Jive and Jehovah artists lay out the human canvas, the mood indigo. So this guy is a politician, right? He's walking around. Who can recall an African American politician that you might know that had a dream? Go. Martin Luther King. Okay, now you have that imagery, same kind of thing, talking to the people. A chorus of summer herbs. What's an herb? What's an herb? Oregano, pepper. What are they? Spices, right? Spices. So herbs or spices, they're tiny little plants. Okay? So a chorus of summer herbs, of mangoes. What's a mango?
It's a fruit.
Type of fruit. Thank you, Josephine. And barbecue. What's barbecue?
It's a steak.
Maybe steak, pork, something like that. It's you got that smell right now? Mango and barbecue. Ooh, I'm getting hungry. Of perfume sisters, hip strutting past fried fish joints on Lenox Avenue in a steamy August. So if it's August and it's hot, okay, what do you think you're gonna get? You're gonna get what kind of smell?
Hotness.
That hot, stale smell, right? But you can smell stale fish. What do you think? Stale fish, you're gonna get what kind of thing? Ew, right? All right. So they're walking through, they're like, woo. Okay, here we go. A carnival of children, people to daytime streets. Rinalivio, warriors, stickball heroes. Stickball is just like baseball, but it's played on the streets with a little ball and a stick, and you bounce the ball and they have to hit it. All right, and that's where a lot of people from the city would play that, because you couldn't play baseball in the middle of the city. You couldn't hit the ball that far, right? It might break a window or something. But a lot of baseball players play stickball because it makes them better at it. Okay, hide and seek. Everybody ever play hide and seek? Hide and seek? Don't talk to me. Show me. Waiting to sing their own sweet songs. Anybody like to sing? Okay, good. Okay, living out their own slam dunk dreams. Slam dunk, that's what kind of term? Where it comes from what? Go, Jace. Basketball, okay? So they're living out their own slam dunk dreams. There are some great basketball courts. One of the most famous outdoor basketball courts in our entire nation is Rucker Park, right? And Rucker Park is in Harlem, and that's where some awesome basketball is played. Some great players have come from there, okay? Listening for the coming of the blues. What are the blues? Type of what? Yes? No, type of blues. We're talking about rock and roll. We're talking about country. We're talking about the blues. We're talking about what?
Music.
Music. Ding ding. Say ding ding.
Ding ding.
All right. So now we're listening for the blues. So think about what we're hearing right now, right? We're seeing people playing stickball. We got other kids running around playing hide and seek. We got other kids singing out in the streets. We've got other kids playing basketball, and then we got other people listening to music. There's a whole lot going on the street right now, isn't there? Okay? Can you hear it?
No.
I can hear it.
I can.
I can. All right, here we go. A weary blues that Langston knew and County sung. So this is a poem, right? We keep going on and on. A river of blues where Du Bois waited and Baldwin preached. Now we're going into history, right? Because Du Bois, this is something we probably haven't learned yet, right? But Du Bois was an attorney who then sued the country to allow African American kids to go to school, to be in when we desegregated schools, because there used to be just schools for African American boys and girls, and then just schools for white students. Okay, but in the '60s we really integrated those, and now we have developed in what we have today. Jay, something to add?
White people got the playgrounds and all of that, didn't they? But the black people didn't.
Well, not completely true, but a lot of times they got more money in their schools, so they might have better playgrounds, but they still had places to play. Okay, but that's I really like how you're thinking. Okay, all right, there is lilt, tempo, cadence. Left, your left, right, left. That's cadence, right? That's cadence. That's a song that goes with a body movement. Your left, right, left, your left, right? There goes the tempo. Then you can add something into it, right? As you walk. All right, I'll teach you a little army song. A yellow bird, with a yellow bill, landed on my windowsill. I lured him in with a piece of bread, and then I smashed his little head All right, so that's a song from the army that goes along with what? A cadence, okay? A cadence. It goes along with a cadence, right? So that's what we have going on here too, okay? They are talking in a cadence. They are talking just like if you've been in church, you might have heard a minister or a pastor talking in a cadence, right? Where he has specific things he says and then he pauses. Things that he says and a pause. So we're not talking just regular talking. We're talking like a cadence, okay? So it's just a little blurb. All right, here we go. A language of darkness, darkness known, darkness sharpened at Minton's, darkness lightened at the Cotton Club. Okay, so these are places where they can hang out. The Cotton Club is a famous after-hour club for adults. Okay, sent flying from Abyssinian Baptist to the Apollo. The Apollo is a famous place in Harlem that is a big music hall where people can go and perform, and there used to be a show called Showtime from the Apollo, right? And there was this famous man called the Sandman. So if they didn't like your act, the Sandman, they would be like, woo, 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 and the Sandman would come out with this big giant hook and take you off the stage. If they liked you, then they give you an ovation. And there was like this ovation meter, right? So if it was a low ovation, it would be like at a 1, right? And then it would go higher and higher and higher. And if they really like them, then you give them a standing ovation. Everybody stand? Everybody stand? Everybody stand? Give me a standing ovation. Okay, clap, 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 clap. Stop. This is a standing ovation. Sit, sit, clap, clap, clap. Okay, stop. This is a sitting ovation, right? So you sit and you clap. A lot of times we'll be polite, right? We'll give the little golf clap. Be polite. Oh yeah, good job, nice job. But if you really like your what, you're like, woo, woo, right? That's a standing ovation. Okay. So now let's see what we got. The Apollo is rocking. Okay, this is actually a picture depicting Malcolm X, right, and Martin Luther King, two famous historians. Okay, the Uptown A. Ooh, I wonder what that is. The Uptown A rattles past 110th Street. Look at the picture and tell me if you can think of what the Uptown A might be. Yes.
I think it's a subway.
A subway. Ding ding. Give her a ding ding.
Ding ding.
Ding ding. I might have thought train, but she's exactly right. It is a subway car. Okay, so the subway is actually underneath the ground. Okay.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. I love riding subway. Shango and Jesus, Asante and Mende, one people, 100 different people, huddled masses and crowded dreams. Okay, so what does that tell us? There's a lot of people on this subway car, right? And they don't really know each other. They're just kind of coming and going, coming and going, coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. Okay? Squares, blocks, bricks. Fat, round women in a rectangle. Sunday night gospel. Precious Lord, take my hand. Lead me on, let me stand. Caught by a full lipped, full hipped. Saint washing. Collard greens in a cracked porcelain sink. Backing up Lady Day on the radio. Wow, there's a lot going on here. Okay, so that was the poem. Now let's break it down. Squares, blocks, and bricks. What do you think we're talking about?
Building.
The buildings. Right? This goes right back to our social studies thing, right? She is depicting a map of Harlem. She's talking about squares, okay? She's talking about a block. So if a block is a bunch of houses and a bunch of buildings on one area, right? That's the block, okay? Then bricks. What are the buildings made out of? Brick, okay? So are they going to have a good foundation? Yeah, they're going to be strong, right? Charisma, I need you to focus on me. Okay? Fat, round women in a rectangle. Okay? Sunday night gospel. So they are singing gospel music, right? So they're depicting who is singing the gospel music. Okay? Precious Lord, Take My Hand, that is the song. Caught by a full lip, full hit. Okay, so that means that it is caught by all of the people, right, that are in there. Okay, they're all singing now, right? Okay, now after they got out of the church, what are they going to do? They're going to go eat. Okay, so now they're eating collard greens, right? They're making collard greens in their cracked porcelain sink. What do you have to do to collard greens? You got to clean them off before you eat them, right? Backing up Lady Day on the radio. What does that mean? So while they're working, they have the radio in the background and Lady Day is playing a song on the radio. Does this sound like something that might happen in your house?
No.
Okay, it doesn't? Okay, you might go somewhere and then come back and have to cook, right? You might have music on in the background, right? Yeah? Anybody play music while you do things in the background? Okay, music, TV, right? But music is real good. Now, the other thing that people in Harlem like to do is they like to sit out on their steps. Okay, so that's part of the brick too. They sit out on the steps and just wave at people as they go. Now, here's one of the cool things too. The department stores that are in this area, they play music. But they don't play them just inside. They have speakers outside too. So when you walk up and down the street, you can hear the music. So it becomes a giant party on the whole block. Where your block might be very quiet. This block, you think this block's quiet?
No.
No, we got all kinds of noise going on. We got subway cars, we got taxis, we got people walking up and down, we got basketball players, we got stickball players, we got people singing in the streets, right? There's all kinds of things going on right here. Ooh, look at this gentleman. He's looking fine. He's got his nice little hat on, he's got his cane, okay? Brother so black and blue, patting a wide foot outside the too hot. Walk up, boy, you ought to find the guy who told you could play some checkers because he done lied to you. So he's telling this guy, right, that they're playing checkers in the park, right? And he's telling the guy, who told you can play checkers? You can't play, I'll just beat you, right? So what is he doing? He's talking a little smack. Right? Is he being a good sport?
No.
No, he's not really being a good sport. Cracked reed, soprano sax laughter floats over a fleet of funeral cars. So now what do we have going down the street? We got some hearses going down the street, right? There's a funeral now on the street too. Are those people happy? No, they lost somebody, right? So they're not happy. But you got all this going on in the streets of Harlem. Go, Jace.
I know who that is.
You do? Who is it?
Michael Jackson.
That is a good guess. Michael Jackson is not from Harlem, but he did wear an outfit like this. But this is a very common thing that you'll see older gentlemen wear, especially hanging out in the park. But that is a good connection because he made a video just like that because he wanted to honor the people from Harlem. That was a great connection, Jace. I'm going to get you a point later for connections. In Harlem, sparrows sit on fire escapes. What is a sparrow? A bird, okay? So now you got birds landing on the fire escape, okay? So fire escape, think of this, right? You're up on a second level, you go out the door, and you have a little area where you can go down a fire escape to if there's a fire, right? So it's a place that also people will sit out on, and it has bars to keep you from falling while you're on that landing, and then it has stairs for you to go down all the way down to the first floor. Okay, so in Harlem, sparrows sit on fire escapes outside of rent parties to learn the tunes. So what are they listening to while they're on the fire escape? Go, Jordan. What's another word for tunes?
Music.
Music, thank you. Okay, in Harlem, the wind doesn't blow past Smalls. It stops to listen to the sounds. So what does that mean? The wind blows and we hear sounds. Is it quiet? Do we hear the wind? No, we're hearing all the other stuff, all the music. The music's floating through the air right now. Serious business, a poem. Another word for poem in music is called a rhapsody. A poem, rhapsody, tripping along, Strivers Row. Strivers Row is an area of Harlem, okay? Not getting its metric feet soiled. Ooh. If your feet are getting soiled, they're getting what?
Dirty.
Dirty, thank you. Okay? So it's not getting its feet dirty, right? On the well, swept walks, okay? Hustling through the hard rain at 2 o'clock in the morning to the next gig. So what is this guy doing? Go, Jordan. Listen to the words, right? He's hustling through the rain at 2 o'clock in the morning to get to the next gig. What is he doing? He's going from, go, Jordan.
He's going from his house to his work.
Right, okay? So he went from his house to a job to another job, right? A gig is an opportunity to play in front of somebody. Lots of times gigs are paid, sometimes they're not paid. But he's going to a club to play his instrument. Yep. Okay, that's a trombone. Okay. A huddle of horns and a tinkle of glass. A note handed down from Marcus to Malcolm to a brother. Too bad and too cool to give his name. Sometimes despair makes the stoops shudder. So despair means a sad feeling. Give me your despair. Give me your sad face. Oh, give me your sad face. Sad face. Okay? Charisma. She's trying to pay attention. Give me your sad face. Okay, good. Okay? So sometimes they're so sad while they sit down on the stoop. But sometimes there's an endless depth of pain singing a cappella on the street corner. And sometimes not. Sometimes it's happy. Okay? So songs can be sad or songs can be happy, right? Here we go. Sometimes it's the artist, the person that's performing it, right? Looking into the mirror, painting a portrait of his own heart. Okay? So a lot of songs are said to be your experience, right? Every time I listen to a song, I'm wondering, hey, how did that writer live? What happened to that writer, right? You'll hear a sad song about them losing their girlfriend. Well, they probably lost a girlfriend sometime, right? You hear a sad song about how they lost their dog. Well, something happened to their dog, right? Okay? You hear a sad song about something going on, right? Or sometimes you hear happy songs, right? And you're like, man, something good happened in their life, right? They're giving praise and worship. Good, okay? Place, sound, celebration. Memories of feelings of place. A journey on the A train. What did we say the A train was? Mia, what did we say the A train was? A subway. If we're playing with these cards, we're wrong, right? They have to last all year. That started on the banks of the Niger. The Niger was where? In Nigeria, which was in what continent? In Africa. Bingo. Africa, right? In Africa. So cultures come when people move, right? So when people move from one place to another, okay, culture stuff comes with it, right? I can tell you that there are Polish dishes in my family because I have some Polish in my dad's mom's side, right? So we learned some cooking, right, of some Polish meals, right? My wife is from Tennessee, from Nashville, right? She loves Southern cooking, right? So we have a lot of Southern recipes, right? I grew up in Italian life, right? So we have a lot of Italian recipes, okay? We make a special thing for Christmas, a special candy out of sugar and stuff that came from my ancestors in Holland, okay? So everything that makes up me has come from somewhere else, okay? Has come from somewhere else. My kids root for the New York Mets. Why? Do they live in New York? No. Have they ever been to a Met game? No. But why do they like it? Yes. Jordan, why do they like it? Okay, why do they like it?
Because they were born that way.
No, they weren't born that way.
It's because you taught them that.
I taught them that because I love it, they love it, right? Because I love it, they love it. Okay, so we brought that in there. My wife loves Harry Potter, right? So now what do you think my kids are loving to do? Read Harry Potter, right? So different things come from your cultures, right? I can guarantee you at Jace's house, right, they have different things than I have at my house because their cultures are different than mine. Same thing with William's house. His house is different because his people have come from different places, right? Maybe some same things, but it may be different. Put it in the parking lot. Okay, here we go. This is what Harlem is. So this is a street sign. It says West 125th Street and Dr. Martin Luther King Boulevard. And that is actually a corner on there. Now, we talked about this too. What might you find on the corner, right here on the corner? What might you find somebody doing what? Go.
Someone doing work or doing anything.
Okay, build. Hey, give me the build sign.
Someone that is making music.
Bingo! Somebody that's giving me music, right? They could be performing an instrument. They could be performing as a singer, right? Boys to Men is a great group. They're very famous now, right? But when they were young, when they were teenagers, right, they used to grow up in the streets of Philadelphia, right, which is another city. They were famous for being on the street corner and doing their 5-part harmony. Now, they got better at it and 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 became world-known performers. They became millionaires, right? But it all started by singing on a street corner. Singing on a street corner. So one of the things you might find in Harlem is singing on a street corner. Now, let's talk about this. What was the main idea of our story today? Go, Olivia.
Black people.
To learn more about black people? Maybe, okay. What do you think the main idea was?
Music and dancing.
Okay, she thinking we're learning more about music and dancing. What do you think the main topic? What was the main topic that we talked about? Go, Jace.
That Harlem is different from other cities.
Okay, the main topic was what? It's right here in our title. Harlem, right? We learned about what? Harlem. Okay, and Harlem is where?
In New York.
In New York. In New York. A lot of people that live there came from Africa. Not a bad thought. Okay, not a bad thought. Okay, now, so do you have to stay in Harlem? No. There's a lot of people that have moved from Harlem and moved different places. My roommate when I was in the army in Germany was from Harlem. He now lives in Florida. So, people move around and they take things with them. But believe me when I tell you that my friend has things in Florida that in his house that he had learned in Harlem, right? You take where you live with you wherever you go, okay? For instance, William, do you have a favorite sports team?
What?
Do you have a favorite sports team in Tennessee?
Basketball.
Okay, all right. What team do you root for?
I usually practice.
Practice?
Play.
Okay. Do you have a favorite team?
I don't have a team yet.
Okay.
I'm
Amari?
in high school.
Amari? I'm sorry, not Amari. Jace? Do you have a favorite team?
Visit him for a vacation or something?
You could visit Harlem for a vacation. That's an excellent idea.
Like your roommate.
Oh, do I visit my roommate? Yes, I do. Yes.
My favorite team is the Tigers.
Which Tigers? The what?
The Predators.
The Predators. Awesome. Okay, so since she grew up, okay, 20 years ago, they didn't have hockey in Tennessee, right? And so a lot of people in Tennessee didn't know anything about hockey. But then the Predators come. Now, Jordan is growing up to love hockey and to love the Predators, right? So when she moves to California, is she going to root for a California team? Maybe. But who are you going to probably go with? Who you grew up with, right? And who did you grow up with? The Predators. So those are things that I'm talking about. That's the same reason why I root for the Mets and the Giants and take things for like the Statue of Liberty. They're things that I grew up around, right? So I bring those to wherever I live. Okay, now, so the main idea of the story was Harlem, right? To learn more about Harlem. Give me a detail, Joshua. Give me a detail that you learned about Harlem from the story. Think. I want everybody to think. I want everybody to think. Think about a detail that you learned from the story. I gave you lots of details. Lots of details. Give me one. Give me one detail that you learned from the story. Okay, there's a lot of music. Good detail. Jace.
But they would turn on the fire hydrants.
They love to turn on the fire hydrants and swim through the fire hydrants, right? Run through the fire hydrants. That's a good detail. What else?
They call the subway the A train.
They call the subway the A train, right?
And they play the thing with the ball.
They play stickball and basketball. Good. What else?
On each end of the street in the house.
Charisma, think. I'm coming to you next.
And someone would be out of their house and be doing something in their yard.
Okay, so a lot of them, did they have yards? No, they didn't have yards. They had a what? A fire escape. So they didn't have a yard. Or they had to stoop the little brick steps. They didn't have a yard because everything's on top of each other, right? So it's different than our houses where we might have yards or a big house. They're smaller houses, and all they really have is their steps. So a lot of people hung out on the steps, right? Charisma, go. What is the detail from the story?
They can go to. When they want to get those red things that spout out water.
They ran through the fire hydrant, right? Okay, that's called the fire hydrant. Okay, who ran through it? Who? Yeah, the kids, right? It didn't matter where you were from; you could run through the fire hydrant. Okay, Brianna, give me a detail. Who's got another one? I'll come back to you, Brianna. Think. Who's got another detail? Go, Jordan.
That black people, we were mistreated.
How did you get from this?
That black people didn't have fancy stuff like white people.
Okay. Now, how did you get that from this? From this book? Where in the poem did you hear that? So you made an inference, right, based on some other things that you've heard or seen. She made an inference, but what's the detail from the book? Jace.
The priestess. The black people that would talk about freedom.
Beautiful. That there were ministers and leaders that would talk about freedom, right? Like Martin Luther King, like Malcolm X, right? In the book. We also learned about Du Bois, who was fighting for education. Okay? Go ahead, Brianna. It's never really quiet in the city. Amen. That's why they call New York City the Big Apple and the city that never sleeps, because it's never quiet there. Never quiet there. All right. So what we're going to do, okay, is that you are going to click on Google Classroom. All right. You should be on that assignment. Okay. You're going to click on the assignment that says Harlem. Okay. Click on it that says Harlem. All right. You can stop it.
Same button.
Yep. Same button.